They said optical shops weren't very inviting, so we, Warby Parker, created ones that were. They said prescription eyewear was too expensive, so we offered more affordable glasses, contacts, and eye exams. They said opticians weren't always friendly, so we hired only the friendliest and the most knowledgeable. And finally, they said the whole experience was just kind of unpleasant, so we set out to change that too. Visit a Warby Parker store and see for yourself.
By Friday. Now let's head over to the tower cam for a, hey, folks, we seem to have a visitor. Oh, it looks like
you paid too much for your glasses.
Who?
Anyone who isn't shopping at America's Best, where 2 pairs and a free exam start at just $79.95. It's a quality exam worth $59. Now let's take a look at traffic.
What are you doing?
Looking at traffic? 2 pairs and a free exam start at just $79.95. It's not just a better deal, it's America's Best. Hi, Mom.
Hello, everyone. That commercial always gives me a little bit of a chuckle. Welcome to our 3rd annual Impact HBCU. If you see it, you can be it. I am Dr. Essence Johnson, an HBCU-made, residency-trained community and correctional health optometrist who is also a pearl-wearing sorority girl and the Chief Visionary Officer of Black Eyecare Perspective. And I welcome you all to Impact HBCU. I am so excited because this is our 3rd Impact HBCU, and so much has grown and changed. This is our event where it is to leave you more informed about what it takes to pursue a career in the eye care industry, be inspired to become that doctor of optometry and earn your degree, but also it's a community awareness event. We want all of our communities, especially our Black and Brown communities, to engage with the healthcare system and to also engage with eye care and to find an eye care provider. So if you have not had an eye exam this year, we are encouraging you all. You will meet and hear from a lot of fabulous doctors tonight and our eye care industry partners. So I am sure that you will be able to find an eye care provider near you. As always, I would love to give a shout out to my alma mater, Prairie View A&M University, who has been producing productive people since 1876, and especially in the year of the poodle, 2022, to the ladies of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. This is your time, and throughout this broadcast, tell us where you are making an impact at. Represent your organizations, represent your sororities, your fraternities, your optometry schools, your undergraduate schools, your elementary, your middle school, or your high school, where you're working at, city and state that you're from. Put it in the chat. We want to know who is out there watching us tonight. I invite you all that we have individuals from all over the world. When I was looking at the registration, we have Warren Middle School out there. Warren Middle School's in Forney, and they have registered very strong. We have students that are coming from schools and colleges of optometry. And I'll be remiss, we have a very good showing and following for some of the HBCUs we've been impacting this year, from Tennessee State to Paul Quinn College to Florida A&M University and all the way in between. This year has been extra special because not only have we been able to engage virtually, but we've been able to physically touch these campuses and help these students not only see better visually, but also be able to see themselves and their future even better. I see it coming in. I see we got Jackson State. We have California. We have Delta Sigma Theta. We have National Vision in Atlanta. And we have Xavier, University of Louisiana. We have Memphis. Keep shouting them out. We want to know where you guys are at. So Black Eyecare Perspective, it was founded by optometrist Dr. Adam Ramsey and Dr. Daryl Glover, and it is designed and created to cultivate and foster lifelong relationships between Black students and optometrists and the eye care industry. Along with myself, Dr. Jacoby Cleaver, who is our Chief Program Manager, Dr. Tiffany Humes, who is our Transformation Manager, our lovely Executive Assistant Sam, our optometry associates, industry partners, allies, and community of doctors. We are redefining the color of the eye care industry 1% at a time by creating that pipeline for Black students into optometry. And Impact HBCU is just one part of that pipeline to reach Black students at historically Black colleges and universities and beyond, really to reach students in every phase of education and to raise awareness and to provide assistance to students to not only help them survive, but thrive in this profession and in their careers. Optometrists like myself, we represent the less than 2% that identify as Black and African American in the United States, and about 40% of optometrists that are Black, they receive their undergraduate degree from an HBCU. So that means the other 60%, they're going to the other colleges and universities. And you know what? We need you. We want you. We want to be a part of your journey. So come on and learn more about optometry. Bring a friend. It's always better to go through optometry school with a friend. And we want to help you all see that you too can be it as well. So tonight, we're going to highlight the historically Black college and university of Xavier University of Louisiana. And in doing so, we invited two of their very distinguished and accomplished alumni to join us. In fact, both Dr. Janelle Davison and Dr. Devin Sasser, who we will meet a little bit later on, they were honored with Xavier University of Louisiana's 40 Under 40 Alumni Award. And that really is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to their list of accolades and awards. And I cannot wait to dive in a little bit deeper with them later on the show. They are going to share their stories and journeys as optometrists, industry leaders, advocates, and importantly, mentors in this industry. We're also going to share some updates from our industry partners, America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses, MyEyeDr, and Warby Parker, and we are going to spotlight the University of Pikeville, Kentucky College of Optometry, and their dean, Dr. Bacigalupi, will be joining us later on. Now I know, you may be wondering, Dr. Johnson, your glasses are so fly. Oh, you weren't worried about that? But I'm going to share anyway. This pair of glasses here, they're made by the only HBCU-made, woman-owned, Black-owned eyewear brand, Vontel. Definitely go to their website, vontel.com. Check out that divine collection. I got to work with them this year and create a series of sorority-inspired frames in honor of Sigma Gamma Rho's 100th celebration. So definitely go on and check out that collaboration, buy a frame or two or three, and support Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated partnership with Vontel. Now, I know what you may be really wondering is, hey, Dr. Johnson, where's Ricky at? I know. I don't think that it is an Impact HBCU if we did not have Ricky Smiley. And guess what? He heard the call. He went to our Black Eye Doctor locator. He located him a doctor, and he even allowed us to follow along on his experience. So I cannot wait for us to all get some laughs, but also to be educated and made aware of the importance of annual eye examinations. So I want you guys to tune in and see Dr. Hamza examine Ricky Smiley's eyes.
So, I see here that your last eye exam was about a year ago. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. It's about that time.
So, are you able to see those letters out there?
Oh my God! I can see!
Which one looks more clear between 1, this is 1, and 2?
I would say 2.
Excellent. And which one looks more clear between 3 and 4?
7. No, I'm just kidding. And I heard you went to Xavier?
I did.
New Orleans?
Yes.
What? I used to perform down there all the time. I was down there 2000.
I remember you. Yeah, came to homecoming. It was great.
It was me and MJG.
Nice.
Did a concert,
yes.
right?
Yes. I remember
There you
those
go.
good old days.
Yes, had a good time at Xavier University. That was a great experience, and that's a prestigious university.
Yes, I'm a proud HBCU, and Xavier really prepared me to attend Pennsylvania College of Optometry, now called Salish University. And I went there and was able to be the president of the National Optometric Student Association. And that was an organization that really helped mentor, support African Americans in the field of optometry, and I'm very proud of that work.
You know, we have to continue to support our HBCUs because great people doing big things coming out of HBCUs, and it's like you in the audience and I'm on stage performing, and now you in here checking my eyes. So
yes.
What?
Yes.
See how everything come around in full circle.
For sure. Yes.
Well, that's why I got on the phone and called 1-800-2PAIR. That's 1-800-TWOPAIR to be connected to the store nearest you. America's best in all states eye exams. Doctors of Optometry. I do the commercial on the radio.
Yes.
All right.
You gotta love Ricky, and thank you, Dr. Hamza. 2 HBCU made right there on that screen. So if you guys are in that area, look up Dr. Hamza, get an eye exam. You could sit in the same chair that Ricky sat in. I think that would make me want to get in, and we just want you to get your eyes checked. I see some other people shouting out in the chat. I want to sit here and say hello, UMSL Optometry. I see Go Salis, Go FAMU. I also see Hey Berkeley. Berkeley is out there. I see people who are classmates. This is your time to connect, network in the chat. Keep it going. Meet someone new. Meet someone who is where you want to be or where you would like to go. Coming up next, I'm going to bring to the stage Miss Tracy Scott. She works for National Vision and Director of Culture, Philanthropy, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Tracy, it is such an amazing time to have you back, to be here 3 years later, to see that we finally convinced Ricky to get his eyes checked. And hopefully that will be enough to encourage more people to get into the chair as well. And I know that you guys have been up to a lot of great things. We always highlight the partnership that you guys have with my alma mater, Salish University, which is also the alma mater of so many of our panelists today and so many people in the chat, and all the great work, and to see these students in the chat too that have benefit from going to the summer enrichment program. And I know that you have some updates for us that you would love to share, and we would love to hear about it.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. We are very excited to be back. 3 years. I can't believe that it's been 3 years. I remember the very first meeting, which was awesome. So it's nice to be back 3 years later. I got to be in the room when Ricky got his exam. And I think Dr. Hamza might be on tonight. She is in Opelika at the America's Best store in Opelika. So if she's out there, I hope she will chat us up and let us know. I'm going to share my screen here real quick. I just have a couple of slides to update everybody on what National Vision has been doing. I just want to be sure, perfect, everybody can see them. We have 4 major strategic focus pillars that our diversity, equity, and inclusion team has been working on for almost 3 years. I think our department was born around the same time we had the first Impact HBCU meeting, which was very exciting. One of them is the immersion of DEI into our National Vision culture. National Vision is a fantastic company to work for. And, we found we hit the ground running with our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. And we did that through some pretty major categories: recruiting, training, career development, and mentorship. But some of the other wonderful things that we did was our CEO, Mr. Reed Foss, signed the CEO DEI action plan last year. And our focus has been to be sure that we are implementing those genuine, actionable steps towards improving diversity, equity, and inclusion, not just within our National Vision stores and our environment, but also in the communities that we have stores in. That's very important for us. Recently, we started our inclusive leadership training teach out. Our entire executive team and our corporate level managers have been through the training for inclusive leadership. Our field leaders and store managers will go through that training in 2023. So that's exciting. We're also partnering with an organization that's called Bridge to Leadership. They are actually hosting an HBCU mentorship breakfast in Atlanta. And the organization works with young people, a lot like the young people that are on the call today. And they focus on education, empowerment, and exposure. And we have a delegation of professionals that are going to be at the breakfast from National Vision. So we'll be talking to them about some of our recruiting efforts, and hopefully, if they don't mind relocating to the Atlanta area, they can work at our corporate office or any of our stores that we have around the country. And then just a couple of more things. I heard someone give Dr. Hamza a shout out a minute ago, and Dr. Hamza is pictured here. She actually was the guest presenter for the September Pre-Optometry Club meeting. We have Dr. Moret, who is also pictured, who was the guest speaker in March. And then we have Dr. Carla Anderson, who will be the guest speaker in November. And these are just phenomenal doctors that we have in our network, phenomenal Black doctors that we have in our network. And they wanted to be more involved. And so we started with reaching out to you, Dr. Johnson, and saying, you know, we have some great doctors who would love to participate. And they've done a fantastic job so far. Dr. Moret all three of these doctors are area doctors with National Vision, but Dr. Moret started as an OD here in Atlanta and worked his way up to the area doctor position. And he's based out of Florida now. So he's a wonderful success story for us, as he spreads his wings and helps to teach other young up and coming doctors. So if everyone can log in December, they'll get to hear Dr. Anderson speak. I heard you call out Salus University. We're still continuing to support Salus with our sponsorship. I think it was a 5-year commitment that we have with a pretty sizable donation. So we have one of the most recent graduating classes, which is very exciting. The OYES scholarship is through the Vision Council. And we have 5 interns right now that are enrolled in the program, and they are working in some of our America's Best locations across the country, and they're rotating through different positions. They start in a receptionist position, the OpTech position they do twice because they get to work very closely with the doctor. So that's exciting. And then we just recently started a collaboration with the NOA and NOF, a grant to support some of the programs that they're launching. So it's been just a wonderful year. We've been very busy.
No, we love to hear it. We love to hear it. And I will say, yes, having Dr. Moret, having Dr. Hamza come and speak to the club, those are opportunities. If you work for National Vision or any organization, or you just want to come and speak to the students, reach out to us. The students love hearing from the doctor's perspective, but really they love hearing from anyone who once was a 20-something-year-old just trying to navigate this world. So if you have some nuggets to share, we would love to have you on the club. Dr. Hamza, she shouted out the NOA. That's our National Optometric Association. Many of us are part of it when we're students in school, a part of that National Optometric Student Association. And then we go on to be a part of it when we're doctors in the National Optometric Association. And I will also add a special part. So if you are listening and you're interested in optometry and you are going to a historically Black college and university, there are many opportunities through the NOA and the NOF where you can get scholarship dollars. So definitely go to the NOA website or reach out to us here at Black Eyecare Perspective so we can connect you with the living legend, the one and only Dr. Paula Boone, and she'll be able to connect you with these opportunities. We're talking about money, monetary opportunities, as well as mentorship and other membership opportunities. So if you are at a HBCU and interested in optometry, we would like to hear from you. And Ms. Tracy, she gave some other opportunities that are not just HBCU specific. So let us know that you are interested in optometry, or if you're a doctor already, we have opportunities for you. Thank you, Tracy, as always. Tell Ricky we want to keep seeing more of him. We love it. Hopefully one day too, I can be in the same room and check his eyes, see what his optic nerve looks like. That would be a perfect time. But we thank you, Tracy. We cannot wait for our next meeting. And if anyone is interested in joining us on that meeting that will be on the 13th, again, let us know in the comments, send us a message, DM us, and we will be sure to connect you so that you can join us, join the club on the 13th and hear from our wonderful panel of doctors. Thank you, Tracy. I cannot wait to see what is next and how next year will make an impact. Up next, we have another message from one of our wonderful eye care partners. In a moment, we're going to hear from Mr. Dexter Jones. Mr. Dexter Jones is the Director of Talent Acquisition for Optometry at MyEyeDr. But while we are queuing up that video, I want to go back to the chat and see where we're at. We have people who are representing from UMSL College of Optometry. Not just any person, though. We have the Dean Keisha Elder out there in our chat. If you guys have not heard already, she gets to be one of the first. I cannot wait to add her to my Black History and Optometry timeline because she is making strides in herstory by becoming the first Black Dean, the first Black female dean at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. Congratulations, Dr. Keisha. We are so excited for your new position. We got more PCO students. We had some people repping SCP. We have greetings from Dillard University, class of 2023. Hello, how are you doing? We have people that are joining us from North Carolina, all the way from Puerto Rico. If you did not know, we have 23 colleges of optometry, and one of them is in Puerto Rico. There are also 2 schools in Canada as well. Hello, Puerto Rico. Up next, we're going to hear from Mr. Dexter Jones. He is going to give us that update about MyEyeDr and how they are making an impact this year. Dexter?
Thank you, Dr. Johnson and the entire Black Eyecare Perspective team. My name is Dexter Jones, and I'm the Director of Talent Acquisition Optometry for MyEyeDr. It is indeed my unique pleasure and honor to have the opportunity to share what MyEyeDr is elevating to increase the color of optometrists and eye care professionals in our incredible industry. At MyEyeDr, we believe that diversity, equity, and inclusion is an area in which all optometric organizations and industry partners can do to work together in creating a more inclusive and diverse working environment. Specifically at MyEyeDr, our values are being brought to life through our company's actions. Our purpose, promise, vision, and values are what drive us to bringing the look of patient care to the very next level. This can only be achieved through a deliberate, aligned focus on elevating high-performance, diverse teams. And yes, it's been proven time and time again that diverse teams outperform non-diverse teams. This is why MyEyeDr has a 21-year history of seeking out, attracting, and creating opportunities for people of color to not just work on teams. No, we seek minorities and all people of color with awesome qualifications to become leaders within our organization and to support our growth. We are so lucky to have several key Black leaders within our organization that support this important initiative of increasing the color of eye care. Our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Artis Beatty, makes sure our organization delivers the highest levels of clinical care in an environment that is both satisfying and fulfilling for all of our doctors. We have Black optometrists in several other positions of leadership within our group, such as regional clinical field directors and clinical managers. And yes, we are especially proud of our very own Dr. Darrell Glover, our special projects liaison, being well known for his work with delivering the MyEyeDr message to optometry faculty and students across the country. But yes, in addition to this, he does incredible work in philanthropy and with a global mindset has set the stage and is making the call with a specific strategy for increasing Black participation across our entire industry. His innovative thinking is bringing together us, 3 of the top 10 U.S. eye care organizations, to discuss and bring this action to this very important initiative. MyEyeDr exemplifies its commitment to the communities we serve by also who we partner with. We have a special opportunity to work with Shaquille O'Neal. Many of you know that Shaq has his own frame line, however, but according to Shaq, he has never received an eye exam in his life until our very own Dr. Beatty provided an eye exam almost 2 years ago. And like Shaq, there are many people of color, for many different reasons, either do not have access to, cannot afford, or simply may not understand the critical importance of the quality of life benefits from annual eye care. From the time that a new experience was created for Shaq, he has been very eager and excited to do much more in supporting underserved communities and helping children and adults see their best. And guess what? MyEyeDr will be right there with him. We'll be right there with you too as well. Our industry is vibrant and thriving, but with your interests, knowing if you can see it, you can be it. We can and will increase the color of eye care. I would like to thank and recognize all HBCU universities and colleges' participation. Our doctor and associate employee percentages have increased over 1% since last year. Our pipeline of doctors and leadership has increased also. Last but not certainly least, thanks to our industry partners, we are with you, and together we can make it happen. Thanks to Drs. Johnson, Ramsey, Glover, Cleaver, and Coombs for allowing MyEyeDr to, yes, raise the awareness and raise the bar. In the words of our CEO, Sue Downs, we fulfill our promise every day through our living our values. Welcome to the journey.
Thank you for that message. And Shaq, his first eye exam was at MyEyeDr. So we have America's Best. We have MyEyeDr. If these places are good for Shaq and for Ricky Smiley, that means you need to be rushing there to get your eyes examined too. Not only is it good enough for them to go and get their eyes checked in these last couple of years, they have allowed us to be a part of that journey. So up next, let's see how Shaq's experience was with getting his first eye exam by the none other Dr. Beatty.
How are you?
How are you? Nice to see you. I don't think I've been down to this spot.
Hi, welcome to my eye doctor. When was your last eye exam?
1985.
Are you serious?
Yes, ma'am.
You're in very capable hands.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm going to have you have a seat right here.
Okay.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to take your picture to actually detect a lot of different eye problems here.
The eye exams have come a long way.
Are you having trouble, though, that you know?
Most of the time on the highway at night. I should be able to see signs.
So how about we do some fun stuff?
Let's do it.
I'm going to have the lights totally out for this. I'm going to check your pupils out, all right? So the pupils is one way that we can know if the optic nerve is firing. This tells me if you're going to need a pair of glasses or not. Actually, it looks like your vision's okay, but that's all I got for you.
Thank you, man.
You did the hard stuff, man. We get to do some fun stuff
all
now.
right.
So we talk about exams being really important for adults, but they really are important for kids, too.
So in our era, it wasn't cool to wear glasses. So I would sneak in the nurse's office and memorize the chart, but I've always had problems.
So a lot of things that bother us from a disease standpoint start in the eyes. Things like leakage or blood vessel changes that could be signs of diabetic change. It will be a cholesterol level for, say, looking at these things, right?
What we're seeing here is the central portion of your retina. This is your optic nerve and where all the signals go back for vision process, okay?
I'm glad then that we can actually get you to see really well.
Smile a little.
This is impressive. It was actually a lot of education. I had no idea.
Which one caught your eye?
The one that she just handed me.
Oh my gosh, my goodness, those are sharp.
Thank you very much.
I
You
love
like them?
those.
All right.
I love
Focus in. These are for the club.
Those are for the club, those are for the boardroom.
Well, can I take some of these to work tonight?
Of course.
Meeting the two beautiful doctors, I learned a lot. I think the world needs to know that. I learned a lot, but now that I'm 49, I haven't seen like that since I was a little kid. So I can't wait to get my new prescription glasses.
And I will tell you, it never gets old, whether it's from Ricky to Shaq or one of you, when we're allowed to help you guys see clearly. It makes me just think back to the other week. Me, Dr. Cleaver, we were on the campus of Paul Quinn College, and we brought our VSP Eyes of Hope mobile clinic to that campus to help the students see. And it never failed. The moment that they were able to pick up the glasses that they selected that day and put them on, and that wow, that ability to see the leaves, to see the asphalt, to go back into class and actually see the board, it is priceless. And we want to be able to bring that type of sight and that type of experience to you. So if you have not had your eyes checked, go to Black Eyecare Perspective, click on our Black Eye Doctor locator, and find a doctor near you. They are waiting, and we're getting close to that end of the year. So that means if you have insurance that has not been used, if you have those FSA and HSA dollars that have not been used, use them today to get your eyes examined, get you a cool pair of glasses like these Von Til ones that I'm wearing, or go check out that Shack brand at a My Eye Doctor near you. Go and get your eyes examined today. I want to introduce you to two amazing people. And I also want to let you guys know that if you see it, you can be it. And the career field of optometry allows many of us to combine our passions with our profession. And these two optometrists that I'm about to bring on, they are surely the ones to watch. And not only have I gotten to get to know them virtually just over these last couple of years, it has been extra special to hang out with them in person. Not only to hang out with them, oftentimes to share a mic or a stage with them. And I am so happy to share this virtual mic and this virtual stage today with none other Dr. Janelle Davison and Dr. Devin Sasser. These two are both Xavier's alums. And Dr. Janelle Davison, she received her Doctor of Optometry degree from my alma mater as well, the Pennsylvania College of Optometry at Salus University. She is a savvy and successful business owner. And not only is she gorgeous in pearls, her wall, her cabinets are full of awards. She is also a lady of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So if you are an AKA, let us know in the chat. Put your pink and green hearts. We want to see you there. Show Dr. Davison some love. She is also the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Brilliant Eyes Vision Center, a well-respected vision center offering a unique premier eye spa experience. She is award-winning, who has been featured in numerous optometric publications. I think this year she has been writing and speaking every turn. So if you have not, follow her on LinkedIn and see her publications, see where she is speaking next, see where she has just came from speaking. She is amazing on the stage, and her expertise has led her to being a key opinion leader in executive board positions, advisory panel roles. She also has a spot on my Black History and Optometry timeline, being one of the first board members from iDoc, and she has just accomplished so many firsts. Her recent awards do include Vision Monday's 2022 Influential Woman in Optical in the Innovation category. Congratulations, girl. And we will get to see what she is cooking up next, I believe in November on that Eyes on Eye Care stage, as she is an Optometry Innovation Award finalist. You go, girl. I cannot wait. And not to be outdone, Dr. Davison is, again, that active member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha chapter, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the Rho Zeta Omega chapter, and the Georgia Optometric Association, the American Optometric Association, and yes, our National Optometric Association. I see those hearts lighting up in the chat, Dr. Davison. I see those hearts for you. And we also have another Xavier alum. It's a Xavier party today. So if you are from Zula, let us know. We want to see you. New Orleans, let us know. So we have Dr. Devin Sasser. He has received his Doctor of Optometry degree from the University of Missouri St. Louis. We gave them a shout out earlier because the University of Missouri St. Louis College of Optometry has a new dean, and her name is Dr. Keisha Elder. So say hi to her in the chat. Congratulate her. And when he was there on that campus, this is what's earning him a first on my timeline, is that he served as the national president of the American Optometric Student Association. And I found out when I had spoke to UMSL from the previous dean that Dr. Sasser is the first Black president of the American Optometric Student Association. He currently serves on the Transition Diversity Advisory Board. Me and him had that fun experience not too long ago where we shared a stage and we talked about all things diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we'll dig in a little bit deeper there because that is a topic that we all love. He is also an active member of both the Maryland Optometric Association's Legislative Committee and the American Optometric Association's Leadership Development Committee. And he was most recently awarded the American Optometric Association's President Award. And you guys have heard a lot of these different associations. So we have our National Optometric Association. We also have the American Optometric Association, and they both have student chapters, and you can be part of both of them, all at the same time. And I know he would like to give a shout out because not only is he a Zula alum, he is a member of one of the coldest fraternities out there, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So come on, we got to do a little Greek roll call. So I need you to put all your hearts in the chat for the AKAs, for the A Phi A's, for the Z Phi B's, for the SG Rhos, for Kappa Alpha Psi, for Phi Beta Sigma, for Iota Phi Theta, Divine. Let us know is there. So friends, hey guys. I know I gave a little introduction. Maybe I gave a lot of introduction about you both, but I wanted everyone to hear now in your words, who are you? We're going to start with you, Dr. Davison. Who is Dr. Janelle Davison, and how did you fall in love with optometry? Or how did optometry find you?
So awesome introduction. You're so much fun. I'm so excited to be here today and I'm honored for the invitation. But I'm Dr. Janelle O.D., the dry eye mentor. I help patients find the root cause of their ocular discomfort and I get them on the road to younger, clearer, wider eyes. So this is going into my 17th year of practicing optometry. And yes, I know, black don't crack. Just kidding. And so I've been practicing now going on 17 years, 13 of that in private practice. I started my private practice, Brain Eyes Vision Center, in 2010, cold. So that means I didn't have a record to my name. My first location used to be a bank, an old Washington Mutual. I purchased that space, leased it, built it out, and really grew that practice in the last 7 to 10 years. I relocated in 2020 because I wanted to change the face of my practice. And so now my practice focuses on primary care, but we have a specialty in dry eye, optometry aesthetics, hard to fit contact lenses, and we also now going to be moving to myopia management. And so I have more of a boutique, and we sell high-end frames in the Atlanta area. So we have a place in our office where you can come get your Dior's, your Gucci's, your Saint Laurent, and not have to go to Buckhead. And also you get to support a Black business. How did optometry find me? And this is a great question. Patients ask me all the time. So it was kind of interesting, right? I knew about optometry because I wore glasses since the age of 12. My brother wore glasses since he was 4, and my sister wore glasses. So we're all myopic. But optometry didn't find me until my sophomore year in college. I always wanted to be a healthcare provider. If you ask my mother, I've always known I wanted to be a doctor since I was 4. And I've been that regiment. I've been on that path literally since I was 4. And so I was always expanding my knowledge about the different healthcare opportunities that was available, doing research, finding mentors. But it wasn't really till my sophomore year in college at Xavier. So all the Xavier grads out there, you guys know about G Chem and drill, right? So G Chem and drill, sitting there in my dorm room, I was like, this right here, I don't know if I can do this for another 12 years. Going on to medical school to be a pediatrician is what I thought I wanted to be. I really took a pause because I said, that's a lot of school. I'm a pre-med major, minor in chemistry. That's giving up a lot of my life. And that was just being real. And so I was home that summer after freshman year getting my eye exam. And my optometrist at the time, Dr. Hunt, of course, asked how I was doing, like I do my students when they come back for their eye exam. I told her things were going good, but I was kind of at a crossroads. I still want to be a doctor, but I honestly don't know if I want to go to medical school and put that much more time into my schooling. I want to have a life. There's other things that I want to do. And so behind the slit lamp, you see right here, checking my pressure, she goes, have you ever thought about optometry? And I'm like, well, I think about it because I get an eye exam every year, but I never thought about it as a career option. She proceeded with the exam and she said, optometry is a great field. Seems like you want to have life opportunities. You want to have a family. You want to finish school early, and you still want to be a healthcare provider. Optometry allows for all of that. In addition, it allows you to own your own business. You can go into education. You could be a professor. You can work in a clinic like I'm doing. The sky is the limit. And you're coming at a great time, which was in the late 90s, early 2000s, where the scope is really expanding. So I went back to school that fall, and Xavier had the pre-med center. And so that's why Xavier's #1 pushing out Black doctors, because they got a cookbook. So I went to the pre-med center, and I had to have like a Rolodex back in the day. Y'all young folks, y'all might not know what a Rolodex is. And so I was going through the Rolodex looking for a mentor, and I had to go all the way to the back. And there was one optometrist in the back. So I pulled out the card, I called her and told her I was thinking about optometry. Could I shadow? So Dr. Jarrett Johnson, back in late 90s, early 2000, let me come shadow. And lo and behold, when I shadowed her, she had her own practice. She was pregnant. She was married. And she was working, I think, as an adjunct professor. Everything that my optometrist in Detroit, where I'm from, said that optometrists can do. So by then I was like, wow, you know, I never thought about it in this aspect. And she said, well, you could come back and shadow. I did. And then at the time, she would let students come work as technicians. So on the days that I had short days, if I only had a lab, I would go be a tech for her. And after that, that was it. I applied, and here I am today, my own practice, 2 kids, very involved in my community and expanding my ability to provide for my community.
I love it all. Someone said the melanin is popping. We have all of the Black girl magic. We have the mom magic. I mean, Dr. Janelle, I don't even think you're a triple threat anymore. I think that you're like quadruple, sextuple. You are #goals. We love it. We love it. We love it. Shout out to Dr. Jarrett Johnson. She's out there in New Orleans. She is another proud HBCU made optometrist. She loves to open up her doors to anybody who is interested. So go and check her out. Now, Devin, did optometry find you, or did you fall in love with optometry? Tell us about your journey.
First of all, I'll start by just kind of introducing myself. You did such a great job. Not much I need to add there. I mean, that's better than I've ever done for myself. But I've been an optometrist for about 7 years now. I graduated in 2015 from UMSL, as you stated. And the way that I practice, I'm kind of what I call myself an optometric floater, which means I do a bunch of different things all at once. And so one of the things I do is I fill in at private practices around the area. I also spend time in correctional facilities providing eye exams to institutionalized persons. And so for me, that's a huge part of my why, as far as why I get up every day to go to work, to be able to provide care, quality care to people who are typically overlooked. And often majority brown and Black people. So that's something that's really important to me. And then also on top of all of that, I do some professional consulting where I kind of fly to different parts of the country and talk about innovations in contact lenses and healthcare and things of that nature. So I do a bunch of different things, which I think is the best part about optometry. As Dr. Janelle I think she stated, there's so many different ways for us to move and operate as optometrists, and something that's unique to our profession. A lot of professions, you go into the job and that's what you do. And if you want to do something different, you have to leave that profession and try something else. And so what's cool about optometry is that you get to kind of flex your muscles in a bunch of different ways. And if you get tired of one mode, you can go to another. One day I might become a dry eye specialist like Dr. Janelle. And so there's so many ways that you can practice. Now, as far as my journey into optometry, it actually found me. It's funny that Dr. Janelle tells her story because we're very, very similar in our origin story. Only I was a little bit more of a late bloomer. I was way in junior year of college when all of my friends were studying for the MCAT and the DAT and the OAT and all those other alphabet terms. And so for me, I got to junior year and I knew that I wanted to do healthcare. Not quite from the age of 4, but more like 18, 19. But I didn't know how I wanted to do that. And so it wasn't until my faculty advisor actually saw that I was struggling that she suggested that I speak to someone named Dr. Tyrus Dimachet, who is practicing outside of the Houston area. I mean, this man went to Xavier, but I never knew who he was. But he took it upon himself to call me and contact me and kind of bring me into the fold, expose me to optometry, kind of show me the ropes. And he followed me all the way through my acceptance letter, all the way through optometry school, checking on me every year to make sure I hadn't drowned in the sea that is second year of optometry school, just making sure that I was encouraged, to make sure I was supported, which speaks to the whole mentorship thing that I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about later. But mentorship is the reason why I'm an optometrist. I would not be here today if it wasn't for Dr. Demishay taking the time out to talk to me on the phone that day and expose me to optometry. Up until that point, I only had one eye exam in my entire life, and that's only because I failed my vision screening at the DMV when I was 18. And so I knew I needed glasses, but beyond that, I had no idea what optometry was and what they did, other than getting glasses. So it's my why is more of I love caring for people, and optometry allows me to be able to really form relationships with my patients, see them year in and year out. It's funny, I see patients who start out at age 10, and now that I'm 7 years in practice, they're like getting ready to go to college, and every year it's like a different person. I'm like, who are you? I don't know, I've never met you before. So it's just really fun to form those relationships and watch your patients grow and really have a personal touch on impacting their lives through their vision.
No, I love that. I think what many of you should take away is that optometry is a very diverse, profession. Yes, we want to increase the diversity, meaning we want to increase, the representation of Black and Brown people in this profession, get us connecting our Black and Brown communities as well, engaging them, helping them become more involved in the eye care and healthcare system. But you can find a doctor of optometry almost anywhere. You see a lot of overlap. Some of us are in private practice. Some of us, you're going to find us in those corporate practices, like at America's Best or MyEyeDr. Or later, we'll even hear from Warby Parker. But we're even in the jail. Me and Devin, Dr. Sasser, we go and see patients at the jail, the county jail, the federal prison. Optometrists can practice there too, in hospital settings and things. It is just a world of different opportunities, a world of different specialties and niches. You hear Dr. Janelle, she is a dry eye mentor, but we have everything from dry eye, front of the eye, back of the eye, glaucoma, diabetes, and everything in between, specialty contact lenses, fashionable glasses. The field is absolutely endless. And then when we're not inside of our exam rooms, we manage to find time for ourselves, to find time for our families. If you follow Dr. Sasser, you follow Dr. Davison, their professional life is one thing, but their personal life is beautiful too. I would say I didn't know if Dr. Sasser was going to the Open or he was a part of the Open. His tennis skills are impeccable. So it just shows that we have some of that life-work balance, that work-life balance, where we are able to check eyes and save lives, but also stay fit, stay beautiful, stay fashionable, all of those things as well. Now, before we were probably the fit and fashionable optometrists that we are today, we had to make it through optometry school. I mean, we had to make it through, going to undergrad. And I'm sure I want you guys to share just a little bit about, why you chose an HBCU and what the experience was like was going there, what skills or techniques that you kind of learned that helped you survive, and thrive through optometry school, but also share with us a little bit about that acceptance piece. I know in talking to you both, that term comes up, but even talking to the students, we always want to know, how can we be accepted? How can we not fall into that imposter syndrome? How can we use our intelligence and our Blackness as our superpower and as our strength? So tell us a little bit, Dr. Davison, about that journey from HBCU to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which are two totally different areas and geographics. You're from Detroit. You're going to a Black college, now in New Orleans. Then you go to the Pennsylvania College of Optometry. Tell us about your journey and kind of how'd you found acceptance and how those tools that you got in undergrad helped you survive and thrive as the dry eye mentor that you are today.
So yeah, my journey was unique. So I'm from Detroit, but I grew up outside of Detroit, south of Redford. And so South of Redford is literally a hop and a skip from the city of Detroit. but the demographic is totally different. And so when I was in 6th grade, I was the only Black girl in my entire 6th grade class. And then when I matriculated to high school, which the middle school was a feeder school, there were about 10 of us in our class of 200 and 220, but I was in the college track. And so I was taking physics and chemistry and all those classes, and I was always the only. And so, that experience in high school was tough, in those formative years, trying to figure out who I am, be accepted. It was a rough ride, right? And at that time, I really didn't have any HBCUs on my radar. I had applied to all the state schools. Michigan State at the time, I was going to go to it, right? I was accepted. I was on a tour and I was on the campus. And being from Michigan, everybody knows it's cold and it snows. And I asked during the tour, these classes, these buildings kind of far apart. We got to take a bus, 12 inches of snow. I said, this cannot be life. It's got to be something else. And then I really didn't want to be in another situation when I was always the minority or just the number. And so I really just kind of prayed. And one day my dad came home, who was at the time AP, assistant principal in one of Detroit public schools. And he was talking to his PE teacher, who his wife was an optometrist of color, who had just graduated from PCO. And then he was talking to another teacher, and that teacher's child had just finished Xavier. And he was telling that teacher that his daughter was interested in being a doctor. And she said, well, she's a doctor. She wants to be a doctor. She's Black. She needs to talk to my daughter. She needs to go to Xavier. And so her daughter called me. And I talked to her on the phone. And I always tell everybody, I've never to this day met this young lady in person. But I've never, ever met anybody that spoke so highly of their institution, not only in the academic setting, but in the social setting. I mean, she just set Xavier up that I was like, I don't know, never heard of Xavier. I've never been to New Orleans in my life, but I got to go. And so I applied as a late application, and I got in. And a couple of years ago, I actually found my acceptance letter. I got in March 9th, right? So that's super late for acceptance. And my parents are going along with it because they're probably thinking like, this girl not about to get in. And so I got in and I said, Mom, Dad, I got in Xavier. So what we going to do? Can I go? And surprisingly, my parents actually let me go down to New Orleans, which was 18 hours away. I didn't know anybody. And by my parents being in the ministry, they start calling around, finding other ministers that lived in that area. And then my aunt, sister-in-law lived there. So they kind of made a little network, and I matriculated down there. When I say I went down there, I was just like, Black excellence everywhere. I had class members whose families were in politics, whose family members were doctors, whose family members were business owners. And it was just really good and refreshing to see people of color who were excelling in all aspects. And so it just really opened my eyes to what my potential could be, and that, that I could excel. So I had a fabulous time at Xavier as far as academics, socially. Half of my friends that I'm still really good friends with are from Xavier. And a lot of my classmates, Dr. Janice, I saw her in there. She was a Xavier grad as well. And so Xavier just not only prepared me academically, as I stated, they're number one in putting out African-American doctors, but I think the confidence level, because everybody that goes there is not Black. That's what I tell people. It's a predominantly Black school, just like predominantly white schools, but there are other students of color and different cultures that go there, just like Xavier. Some of my best friends were Vietnamese, Caucasian at a Black school. But it teaches you the confidence level when you have professors who don't look like you, but they're pouring positivity in you versus negativity. So I had Asian professors, Caucasian professors, Black professors, all telling me, you're great, you're the best, and we're going to ride you hard because people are going to think less of you because you went to an HBCU. So I graduated from there, and I actually matriculated to a different optometry school first. And within a semester at that optometry school, I knew immediately that I was there because a quota needed to be filled, but I was not there because they wanted me to succeed, right? And I was able to recognize that because I had been through that 6 through 12. And so in that semester, I decided I was not going to pay an institution $29,000 plus a semester to be treated less than. So I actually withdrew. I withdrew, and within a year later, not even a year later, the next August, I was at PCO, right? So I withdrew. I was reapplied and got into PCO. And that's where I finished my journey. So it took me 4.5 years, so 4 years in the semester to finish optometry school, because I willingly walked away from a school because I was not about to give them money to treat me less than. once I finished PCO, I didn't do a residency. I went right into working. I did corporate for a little bit. And then for 2 years, I contracted myself out in the Atlanta area as a relief doctor. And that's how I was able to experience corporate, private practice. And then that's when I knew private practice was for me. And then 2010, I started my practice, and I've been here ever since 2010. And so acceptance, know your worth, and be willing to walk away from a situation if you know you're worth more than they value, and if it's for you, it will work out, because it always has for me. I always say what God has for me, nobody can take away, but you have to know your worth. And acceptance, it means to me just knowing your worth and not letting anybody degrade or devalue your worth.
Are y'all taking notes? Did y'all catch that? What have we learned? If it's for you, it will be for you. Sometimes this road through optometry has some twists and turns, but the end point will be all the same. So trust the process, trust the journey, listen to yourself, put yourself first. We just had, a mental health awareness day. Make sure that we're choosing us first and that we are in a situation where we can not only survive, but thrive. Thank you for sharing those words. I too, I am from Southern California originally. There are 2 schools in Southern California, 2 optometry schools, and then there's one in Northern California as well. I was all set for undergrad to go to one of our state schools in the UC system, and then I got a phone call one day that said that I was selected to go to Prairie View A&M University and that I was getting a full ride presidential all 4-year scholarship. And I said, wait, what? I've heard of this school before, being from California. I haven't even applied. And they said, we want you. So I remember me and my dad taking my best friend's car, driving it over spring break from California into Texas, stepping on that campus, and immediately I fell in love. Not to mention, who does not want to be in debt when you want to become an optometrist later? So it was such an amazing experience, a different experience, going to a place where it was more of a predominantly white K through 12 experience, and then to step on a campus that is predominantly Black or predominantly minority, and then to make my way to the Pennsylvania College of Optometry. Devin, tell us, where did you come from? Where did you go making it to New Orleans? Then you made it all the way to St. Louis, Missouri. Tell us about this journey. Tell us about how you had to adapt, and tell us how you found that path of self-acceptance, but being accepted in this industry as well, and as a young Black professional.
Yeah, so for me personally, my mom likes to call me her autopilot child, meaning that I was a very self-reliant kid, and from birth, I'm like, I can figure it out. I don't need your help. And so I knew about Xavier, and I knew about Xavier because at the time, different life, I was dating a young lady, and she wanted to go to Xavier because she wanted to be a doctor. And I was like, well, I want to be a doctor, so let me look into this place. And I found Xavier that way. Now, I did not understand the significance of having it be an HBCU. I've heard of Prairie View A&M before, but other than that, my exposure to HBCU was pretty limited. Can you guys still see me, by the way? I'm the only person on the screen now. Okay, just want to make sure. My preview to HBCU life was very, very limited. And this was right after Katrina had unfortunately hit New Orleans. And so we're talking about 2007-ish. And my mom was not having me move down to New Orleans. And so I had to kind of sneak down in a sense for a pre-college program for science kids, which is really nerdy now that I think about it. It was called Howard Hughes, and we all went down there to take our first chemistry course before school started. And I told her, I was like, I'm not coming back. I love it here. I've never in my life seen so many brilliant, beautiful Black people in one space, to the point where I'm not that I'm not exceptional, but I'm not the odd man in the pool. Now everyone's like me, which was something I had never experienced before leading up to that point in my life. And so my time at Xavier was all about just making the most of my experience from day one, applying to be president of classes and SGA president and all that stuff, and just making sure that I got the most out of that experience. And it was an experience that I will never forget. As Dr. Janelle said, our teachers were not always or usually Black people. Sometimes they were Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament, which were nuns, but they just pour into you to the point where you feel like you can do anything, you can achieve anything, and that's something that Xavier does so well. And so leaving Xavier was very tough for me because I had made such a life for myself there, and I felt so comfortable there around people who looked like me because I never had that before, and so leaving there was tough. So I like a challenge. And so I said, I'm going to go somewhere that no one knows me. It's foreign to me. I've never been to the Midwest before. I only interviewed at UMSL, and they told me I got in pretty much immediately in the dead of winter. So I was like, okay, this is an experience that's different from my usual, coming from Texas and going to school in New Orleans. Let's do it. And so I did that, and that was an experience. I mean, talk about a culture shift. I walked in as the only Black person in my entire class, and one of only 3 Black people in my entire school at the time. So that was and the older 2 were in the upper class. They were leaving for rotations on their 4th year. And so there was a point in time when I was the only Black student on campus. And that was an experience that I would never forget. And that whole sense of imposter syndrome is so real because I knew that I had everything, all the tools. I had been SGA president. I've been involved this whole time. I was on CNN for God's sake. I was doing all these amazing things in undergrad. And then I got to optometry school. I was like, I know I have the tools to be great, but I feel like I don't belong. And not necessarily because anyone was making me feel like I didn't belong. It was just an environment that I'd never experienced before, and it felt really, really foreign to me. And that lasted all the way through optometry school and even onto my early stages of my career, kind of getting out there as a young optometrist and realizing that when I walk into a lot of these rooms, there's just not a lot of people who look like us in those rooms. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen the numbers now of the thousands and thousands of optometrists in this country. Only 1.8% of them are Black, which is an extremely low number. And so for a lot of us, we're walking into spaces consistently where we're kind of, no one looks like us. And so we're kind of representing more than ourselves a lot of the times. And that can be a pretty daunting task. And so we talk about self-acceptance. That is what I had to do for numerous reasons, not just optometry, but more like my life, who I am, who I am in my core, who I am as a person. That's something that was a huge challenge for me. And I didn't really get that until we're talking like 28, 29, 30, which at that point I'm well into my optometry career. So I had gone all that time not really being okay with who I was as a person in undergrad and optometry school and now as an optometrist. And it wasn't until I number one, found a therapist, shout out to therapists, that I was able to kind of really do the work to get to know who I was so that I can get to the point of acceptance for myself. And when I did that, I was able to then find my community of people who love, support, and celebrate me as who I am authentically, which is something that was a huge challenge, but I did it, which is great. And it was a lot easier to do personally than it was professionally. We're talking about 2011-ish when I was in school, and social media was a thing, but it was nowhere near where it is now. So, I mean, back then you had to have an iPhone to have Instagram. Like, it was a different time. And so there was no reaching out to fellow Black students at the other schools. It was just literally you were in your cocoon. And so in recent years, thanks to social media, thanks to kind of getting out there more and doing speaking engagements and meeting with other optometrists like yourself, Dr. Johnson, and Dr. Janelle, we now have a sense of community. And I now have a sense of community that I feel comfortable walking into those rooms and being confident and being able to kind of really apply everything that I know that I already have, but kind of feeling more comfortable in my skin so that the imposter syndrome is not really a factor for me anymore. And I have my community to thank for that. I have my therapists and my co-pays to thank for that. and I have the fact that I was able to get to a point of self-acceptance to thank for that as well.
No, I love that, Dr. Sasser. You touched on so many things. One, I too, when I was applying to optometry school, I didn't apply to one, I applied to 3. But the 3 that I applied to, I looked at it as I want a new opportunity. Even going to Prairie View, which is in Prairie View, Texas, right outside of Houston, I was looking at, wow, this is a new opportunity for me to get to know the world. And if I don't like it, it's only like a 3 to 4, maybe 4.5, 5 year commitment, and then I can move on. Then that part of knowing that we are of value, that what we bring to the table, what we bring into a school, what we bring into this industry and into this world is of value. But I think you touched on it best of knowing your own, what is at your core, what is your North Star? What are those beliefs and those feelings that let you show up to be just sincerely and authentically you? And knowing that if you're in a space that is not fostering and cultivating that, sometimes doing things afraid, but also not being scared to go out there and find that sense of community. And that is definitely what we have been building. And I think that one, great for social media. This is one of the blessings in the social media. One of those parts where it was even good for the pandemic, where we were kind of forced to now go back and reestablish or redefine what our community looks like. I don't think I've been this engaged in just our eye care industry in terms of it is like a passion and a mission of mine to know everyone, to know you guys beyond your social media handles, to know you beyond @Fit Optometrist and Dr. Janelle OD. Now I know y'all as Devin Sasser and Janelle Davison. I think that that's really huge. And then to also think back and be like, hey, we all went to school around certain periods of time and had some overlap. And here we are now, a decade later, just now really truly to get to know one another. And so to be able to already kind of reinforce that foundation and to engage, people from all over, whether they're interested in optometry or not, building the pre-optometry club, connecting our different optometric associations. I feel like it's a very cool and fun time being an optometrist and going to these conferences and not only meeting with my fellow colleagues, but all of the students that I never even thought, even as a pre-optometry student, to show up at these conferences. And now that the students are aware,
What's up, everyone? It's your favorite optometrist, Dr. Daryl Glover. We had a little bit of a technical issue, but I'm here to represent and hold it down. I'm going to pick up for Dr. Johnson until she gets back on, but Dr. Sasser, Dr. Davison, two phenomenal ODs. I really love to just, learn a little bit more about, where you want to take this industry, right? You have an opportunity right now to talk to thousands of students out there that are looking to jump into the world of optometry. Students that see themselves in you, students that see that they can make a change, not just in the industry, but in healthcare, but in the world. Let's talk about that. Let's give some insight to that, because we want to give these students some of that energy. We want to put the battery in their pack. We want to let them know that they have the mentorship, like you mentioned, Dr. Sasser. We want them to know that they have the community, like you touched on, Dr. Davison. We want them to know that there is a resource for them out there with Black Eyecare Perspective, but all Black eye care professionals as well. So if you don't mind just sharing that a little bit, and then I'm sure we'll get Dr. Johnson back on to continue on the show.
Yeah, I'll start there. For me, I just want our profession to be all of you on this call right into our profession. And it's so funny because we're at our current state, we're not nearly as diverse as we should be. And so what I do, what Dr. Glover does, what Dr. Johnson does, and Dr. Janelle, we all work in spaces to bring people in, whether that be at an optometry level, at an optician level, it's in eye care in general. We want more representation. And so my goal and my passion over the last couple of years at least has been geared towards getting more people who look like me in the rooms that I am in. And that's something that takes a lot of work, but we're doing it. And one of the examples that Dr. Johnson mentioned was the Transitions Diversity Advisory Board, which I'm a member of. And when I was given an opportunity to join that, and we're talking transitions, for those of you who don't know and haven't heard that term before, that's the company that makes your lenses change to dark when you walk outside. So they're like the dual glasses. Huge company, international company, one of the biggest companies in our industry. And they they found it important to invite people with diverse voices and diverse vantage points to come into their organization and really affect change and bring in more people and more inclusion. And so my passion is geared towards that. I've been doing a lot of that over the last couple of years, but the best way to do that is just kind of reaching out to you all and letting you know that we're always available to email. We're always available to chat via phone. I'm sure we'll have our emails put somewhere at the end of this, or it'll be made available to you should you ask. And I'm always available and around to answer questions about optometry, answer questions about eye care, and just be there to support you like I was supported when I was in your shoes not too long ago.
No, thank you. See, look, I shout out the internet and then it tried to take me out. Like, internet, come on now. But yes, so what I wanted us to talk about next is that term diversity. And I hope people don't shudder when we're saying this, but we are going to talk about the triad, the diversity, the equity, and inclusion. And I want to hear from you. And Devin, we can start with you first. I want to know, what does DE&I mean to you personally and professionally? And how do you personally embody and exemplify it? And then, what does that mean for our profession, for our industry, for our day-to-day life?
Yeah, for me, DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion, it means everything to me. As someone who's a member of two different groups who has historically been marginalized for the mere fact that we exist, I think it's so important to stand up and use my platform to create spaces for people like me, people who are not like me, who have different vantage points and different ideas, to have an opportunity to voice their opinions and their viewpoints. And so for me, it's something that it drives me at this point. I would say it's probably the largest driving force that I have outside of patient care, just really understanding the importance of hearing those different viewpoints and having space made for people to really play a part in our profession and creating a more diverse space. And so the way that I do that clinically is pretty easy. Just treat everyone with decency, respect, regardless of their race, regardless of their gender, regardless of their sexual orientation. All of those things. It's so easy to do, but it's such an easy thing to miss if you're in the habit of kind of going about your day and operating as business as usual. When you have someone who's not the same as you, we inherently act different. That's the science behind our brains. If we get things that are placed in front of us that aren't familiar, we often behave in different ways. And so it's important to really work to be inclusive in the spaces that we're working in. And I do that a couple of different ways. Number one, I go the extra mile to be culturally competent. And so for me, as I've fallen victim in my earlier parts of my career of just assuming that because I'm a Black man, I was like, I don't need a cultural competency course. Like I'm Black, I don't need to do that. And I remember we had a class my fourth year in optometry school, and they did a class on cultural competency, and I was rolling my eyes. I was like, this is stuff I know. Like I don't need to do this. But I could not be more further from the truth in that regard now that I'm an adult, and I see the differences there. There's so many things that we need to pay attention to if our goal is to create a kind of a just and equitable place for everyone involved. One way that I do that is I celebrate my patients and my people who I work with. And celebrate means, if there's a Pride Month, we're celebrating. If it's Black History Month, we're celebrating. Hispanic Heritage Month, we're celebrating, which just ended. And so I'm all about celebrating and recognizing people and letting them know that I see them. And I may not know everything about their experience, but I'm willing to be open and listen and learn from their experiences so that I'm able to, number one, be a better doctor, number two, be a better boss, and number three, be a better person. And so for me, it's all about kind of just taking the extra time to really get to know people and their experiences and not feeling as though you know it already, which was my big fault when I was a little bit younger. Now, personally or professionally, I was speaking a little bit earlier when we had a little bit of the internet jab there. It's all about getting into spaces where you can make a difference in positions of influence. It's easy to be inclusive in your advertisements and have people put you in a magazine or whatnot, but really striving towards taking the opportunities that I have to be in places of influence to really make a change. And not only for myself, but to use it as an opportunity to bring someone else in. Say, hey, I know you're here for me, but I'm bringing this person in with me because I feel like they have something valuable to say in this matter as well. And it's a very slow process, and we're way behind schedule, but I think we're making steps towards becoming a more inclusive industry. And I think things like Transitions Diversity Advisory Board and me being on national platforms and national committees for the AOA are great steps in that direction. And my goal now is just to bring people along so that everyone's included at that table and not just the one, not just the exception.
No, I love that, Dr. Sasser. And I know that you are an advocate at heart to your core. It's just the way you were born and raised, and a lot of those things you exemplify in your personal and professional life. Dr. Davison, I know that you are all for increasing diversity in terms of representation, diversity in terms of the young women that were getting into STEM. You do things in your personal and professional life. You do things alongside your siblings and making an impact in healthcare, just in general and in this world. So tell us, what is your definition of diversity and how are you embodying and exemplifying that in the things that you're doing personally and professionally?
Yes, and so diversity, equity, and inclusion. To me, the broad definition is, I'll start in the industry aspect of it. It's pretty simple. The playing field should be the same, and the rules should be the same. Sometimes with diversity, equity, inclusion, some cultures and some subgroups, we have the field, we have the door, but one door has 3 inches of brick in front of it. So I have to spin, or concrete. So I'm spending time to get it through the concrete so I can get through the door, while I have colleagues over here that are just able to walk through the door. So industry is simple. Even playing field, same door. You put barriers in front of a door, make sure it's in front of both. And then let the skills and the action speak for itself. On the personal end, what I'm doing is, my journey through middle school and high school, it's tough being the only. I was fortunate to know at an early age what I wanted to do. I found out about optometry as a career option later in life. And so I wanted to mesh all that together in the personal space, where to make a young lady's journey a little bit easier and introduce them to optometry a little bit earlier. And so I was working for years with the Cobb County schools as a work-based learning site. So I would let high school students come in my office and be interns for a semester. And I was working with one particular high school. And during that, I was invited to participate on the Cobb County board for the Career, Technology, and Agriculture and Healthcare board. And from that, I decided that I wanted to have more students of color, particularly Black and brown girls, to be exposed to healthcare, optometry, and optometry being an aspect of a STEM career. And so I founded a nonprofit in 2017 with my sister, who is a practicing cosmetic dentist in Charlotte, who also went to Hbcu, Hampton University. And so together, her and I started this nonprofit to help expose, empower, and encourage girls of colors to pursue optometry, dentistry, and we've added ophthalmology. Out of all of those, even in medical school, you may feel like a lot of Black doctors, but there's only 6% of medical doctors are of color. And then optometry, podiatry, and all these different fields, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So since 2017, we've been opening our practices and partner with other women of color to host interns for a summer. And during that time frame, we also encourage them on time management, test-taking skills, oratorical skills, and how to dress for success, so that not only do they have the grades, but they have those soft skills to match as they're matriculating through high school and college. And through that, we also provide scholarships. And so this is all grassroots work between my sister and I, where we've donated or been able to raise $20,000 worth of scholarship for these girls. So every year they come in, they get an internship and they get a scholarship to put towards the rest of their high school journey or on their applications for college. And lastly, my goal in the industry was, sometimes you can sit back and say you want something to happen, but you have to actually do the work, right? And so a lot of times I would go to conferences and learning specifically about dry eye, optometry, aesthetics, things like that. And one day I just looked up and noticed I kept seeing cases, but I never saw a case that was dry eye or aesthetics based that was my skin tone. I only saw cases where it was diabetes and glaucoma, right? And I'm like, all Black people don't have diabetes and glaucoma, A lot of us have dry eye, and a lot of us want to be able to know about the different aesthetic options that are available to us. And so I even researched to the point where I was like, well, maybe Black people don't get dry eye, which we all know is not true, because it makes sense as to why I wasn't seeing any cases. And so I decided to do something about it. I'm not naturally a lecturer, but I decided that if I want to be the change, or I have to be the change that I want to see. So I went and started writing, doing what I need to do, finding mentors. And so now I've been able to be on stages where I've lectured at big conferences on those topics. And every time I've had a doctor of color come up to me and say, wow, there's only like 3 of us in here, and one of us is actually the presenter. You don't see that a lot. And just left Tennessee this weekend, and there were 2 Black doctors in the room, me as a speaker and one as an attendee. And he walked up to me and said, wow, I never see anybody that looks like me. And when I walked in and you were the speaker and you were speaking for 3 hours, wow. And so sometimes you got to step out of your comfort zone and be the change that you want to see in order to make an impact in your particular career field or industry.
No, thank you. And I think we have touched on just that importance of mentorship, the importance of mentorship in our lives and becoming those students and optometry students and now optometrists, and now in the ways that we want to advocate by increasing the representation in our profession in healthcare, and in being the people that we know that we wanted to have, and some of us we did have and wanted more of to have. We want to be those examples and be that person that helps that student, get to that next step and that next phase in life. So typically people ask you, what would you tell your younger self? But how I want to end this beautiful segment is, what do you think your 20-something self would tell the person that you are today? The person that has learned to be accepted and comfortable in their own skin, to show up authentically and sincerely as themselves, to know that they are of value and that they are valued and have a lot to bring. Tell us, Dr. Sasser, I see you thinking. What would 20-something-year-old Devin tell Dr. Sasser?
Yeah, that is a fantastic question. And when you mentioned that might be one of the questions, I struggled because my 20-year-old self was quite a lot. But I think my 20-year-old self would tell me that I need to remember to live and to live more freely. Anyone who knows me in my mid-20s or early 20s knows that I was extremely ambitious. Going after everything, every position, every opportunity to speak, just doing everything, sometimes at the expense of my own mental and personal well-being. And as a young person, I would like to I think my young person would tell myself to be a little bit more balanced, especially nowadays, because over the recent years, that fire, that ambition that I once had is now being reignited and it's fully ablaze with all the things I have my hands, feet, toes in these days. And so it's important to stay grounded and remember that it's okay to have fun. It's okay to live your life. Now I have the benefit of having that self-acceptance, so that's easier to do these days. But I think my younger self would urge me to never forget to live, because that's something that I was unable to do back then. And I think that young person, my young self, would really be saddened if he knew that if I was, now 34 years old, and I was still unable to do that. And so living more freely, living more boldly, but also not forgetting that it's okay to be ambitious, it's okay to go for things, and it's okay to want to make a change. But so I'm listening to that young person loud and clear. I think he would also tell me to stop eating Fruity Pebbles every week, but I'm gonna ignore that. I'm gonna ignore that part. I'm just gonna continue doing what I do because I'm a grown up, But yeah, the main thing is, I think, balance. I think my younger self would really tell me about, hey, you need to really focus on finding a way to balance this, because right now, at the rate we're going right now, this is not going to end well.
Hey, 20-something selves, do y'all hear that? Do you hear that, 20-something selves? Particular 20-something selves out there that just not too recently, their mentor told them that they need some balance, that we are telling you that studying, Dr. B, you didn't hear me say that, is not all that you're doing in optometry school. It is okay to celebrate those wins. It's okay to treat yourself for that ice cream or that bowl of Fruity Pebbles. You guys, please treat yourself well, put yourself first, learn how to balance that ambition in the academics, but also have a life. You move to these amazing places. You're going to all these different schools and colleges and universities. Enjoy the city, date the city, see the city. I know when Dr. Cleaver comes on, one of our favorite things to do when we were in Philadelphia was restaurant week. You get to go to the fanciest place in the city for a fraction of the price. So learn how to find that balance. It's easier to do it as your 20-something self. It gets a little bit harder as you add the different demands of just adulthood, because #adulting is not cool. And you'll wish that you could go back to that 20-something-year-old self. Dr. Davison, what is 20-something-year-old Janelle telling Dr. Davison these days?
So yeah, 20-something-year-old Janelle, that's actually, up in these 40s, I can't remember. My 20-something-year-old self, in between backing it up with juvenile, would tell myself that you are enough and you have always been enough. And your authenticity is what makes you unique. So all this y'all see right here, this ain't me in the exam room, right? So that's why all my patients, black, white, green, and yellow, I'm everybody's homegirl. It's so funny. My husband will be in here who works with me now. He'll ask me, do you know them? I'm like, yes, a patient. Or did you go to college with them? No. Did you work with them? Why does everybody swear they know you? So your authenticity is what makes you unique. And so accept who you are, be who you are, and that flavor that you have, that's what makes the boardroom, that's what you bring to the boardroom. The imposter syndrome, I used to think I need to scale myself back, talk less with my hands. And my husband would always tell me, when you're being Janelle, that's when you bring the fire. And so just your authenticity is what makes you unique, and you are enough, and you have always been enough.
Did y'all get that? Do we need to say it again for the people in the back? Your authenticity is what makes you unique. You are enough, and you have always been enough. And bring that flavor. I think that is why we hear a lot of questions where we have our colleagues ask, how do we communicate with Black patients? How do we communicate with patients of color? You don't do it any differently. You communicate with them the same way, but it's the way that you connect. It is your tone. It is in the swing of our hips and the curve of our backs and all of those kind of things that people come back into our chair, because I have a lot of patients and the eye exam is just the extra bonus. They are coming because they want to hear from someone that looks like them. They want to feel comfortable and trust, someone that looks like them. They want to let their hair down. And sometimes they want you to tell it to them straight. They want you to tell them not that you have myopia. It's, girl, you can't see far away and you need a pair of glasses. That you're squinting, and we're going to get you a cute pair. We're going to get you a pair from this luxury line or this bespoke eyewear line or from this Black eyewear line. So I love that. And I thank y'all, and I cannot wait to see y'all in person in the next coming weeks, and to share stages with you guys again, to cheer you on in front of you, behind the scenes, and on social media. Keep doing it. Keep showing us all of that Black boy joy and all of that Black girl magic. Tell us, you guys, how we can schedule an appointment, how we can follow you on social media, and how, if there is a mentee seeking a mentor, they can connect with you. Dr. Sasser.
Yes, I'll start with the last one. For mentoring, it's easy to find me. It's my name at gmail.com. It's two different ways to do it. You can either put my name straight, Devin Sasser, no spaces, or you can do Dr. Devin Sasser, no spaces. Those are both mine. And you can send me an email, give me information. I'm more than happy to chat offline about anything whatsoever as it relates to optometry, whether you're an optometry student, pre-optometry, a parent of someone who might be interested in optometry. I'm open to have those conversations. As far as scheduling, the best way to reach me is through Instagram, to be honest with you. That's where I spend most of my time as far as communicating with people. And so my Instagram handle is @TheFitOptometrist. That's at the all one word, the Fit Optometrist. I am fit under this whole get up, so it's appropriate, but that's the best way to find me. And yeah, email me or hit me up on Instagram. That's the best way to get to me as far as scheduling anything of the nature that's eye related.
And I will co-sign, he is fit. Go follow at the Fit Optometrist. Dr. Davison, how can we get in contact with you?
And so, yes, if you want to schedule an eye exam, you can visit my website at brillianteyevisioncenter.com. Or if you want to refer patients to me for dry evaluations, hard to fit contacts, as well as myopia management, you can do that on my website as well. If you're looking to be mentored, if you're a high school student, you can visit WeScore.org. That's our website to contact us and learn more about our internship program. If you are beyond high school and you're interested in shadowing or learning more about optometry, you can reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn at Dr. Janelle OD. I have several mentees who are currently first-year students in optometry school who also follow my footsteps and have pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So I'm open to everybody. I'm very responsive, but give me time. I got 2 kids, the husband, the business, everything I'm running. So give me a couple of days to respond to you. And also you can reach me on email at dr.davison@brillianteyevisioncenter.com.
Thank you. Did y'all hear that? We do not want you to be a mentor and never a mentee, or a mentee and never a mentor. Reach out to these fabulous, award-winning, HBCU-made optometrists and keep it going in the chat. Keep it going. There are people who said that they want to be a mentor to you. We have people who are mentees. Reach out to them. They want to see us. They want to be us. And yes, Adriana, we will be at Academy and we cannot wait to meet y'all. Thank you, Dr. Sasser. Thank you, Dr. Davison. We love you. We appreciate you. Keep doing good things because you guys, they are the ones to watch. Thank you, guys. So up next, we are going to hang out with some of my favorite friends from Warby Parker. They will also be at Academy. So we're talking about, what is Academy? It is the American Optometric. It's our Academy Optometric Association. It is one of our conferences. So we talked about the AOA, we talked about the NOA. Now we're talking about the American Academy of Optometry, the AAO. Which many of us are fellows a part of. Many of us have done residencies, and then we follow that track into fellowship. And we will all be getting together for their centennial celebration. Everyone's turning 100 this year in San Diego, California. So let's hear from Reggie Rosabillo and the rest of the Warby Parker team. Hey, Reggie.
Hi, everyone. We are Warby Parker, and we're so excited to be back as a partner to Black Eyecare Perspective for the 3rd annual Impact HBCU event, alongside America's Best and MyEyeDr. Thank you so much to the entire team for bringing us back to participate in this event again, and thank you to all of you for being here tonight. My name is Reggie, and I'm one of the doctor recruiters here at Warby Parker. I want to take a moment to introduce us and share a bit more about our company and how we're dedicated to making the field of optometry a more diverse and equitable place. To begin, Warby Parker was founded with a mission to inspire and impact the world with vision, purpose, and style. As a company, we're committed to providing unparalleled vision care to every customer, and our doctors are truly at the forefront of making this happen. It's amazing to think that someday this will all be you as the doctors who provide quality care to others across various settings. Since our recruiting team began working with Black Eyecare Perspective in 2020, we've been inspired by the work the organization is doing to bring awareness to optometry as a profession and the support they've provided to students on their quest to becoming doctors. We've been so lucky to work with so many students from the Pre-Optometry Club that are actively achieving their goals at numerous institutions. We've had the opportunity to visit some of you during in-person events across the country, and your excitement is so contagious that we cannot wait to continue following your careers. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the amazing executive team at Black Eyecare Perspective, Dr. Ramsey, Dr. Glover, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Cleaver, and Dr. Humes. Your dedication to Black Eyecare Perspective and the Pre-Optometry Club illustrates what is possible when thought-provoking leaders come together with a mission to do good. Now, I'd love for you to meet some of our optometrists, Dr. Sidhu and Dr. Trinidad.
Thanks, Reggie. Hi, I'm Dr. Charlene Trinidad, based out of Orange County, California, and I have been with Warby Parker since March of 2022.
I'm Dr. Sidhu, based out of Chicago, and I've been with Warby Parker since I graduated back in 2018. I want to share some updates about the work we've been doing here at Warby Parker. We welcomed our first doctor into our first retail location nearly 9 years ago, and we have grown our team of doctors substantially over the last few years. Since we launched in 2010, we have grown from being online only to now having over 203 stores in the US and Canada, where our customers can shop for glasses and contacts, as well as have eye exams.
With growth comes even more opportunities to give back. For every pair of Warby Parker glasses sold, a pair is distributed to someone in need. This year, we announced a milestone of having distributed over 10 million pairs of glasses. But Warby Parker's mission to do good doesn't just stop at glasses. We also publicly shared our racial equity strategy in 2020, which is our plan to promote racial equity within Warby Parker, the industries in which we operate, and beyond. Our racial equity strategy supports 10 goals, one of which is to increase Black representation in the field of optometry. This is why we established the Warby Parker Scholarship at NECO in the fall of 2020, to provide tuition to 2 Black scholars for their 4-year Doctor of Optometry program. We have since expanded this program to cover the tuition of 2 more Black scholars.
This means that Warby Parker will now provide almost $900,000 in scholarships to increase Black representation in the field of optometry. In total, this will cover tuition for 4 students to complete NECO's 4-year program. Additionally, this fall we will be adding 2 more scholars to that list. The record number of Black applicants that NECO has seen since 2020 shows that awareness and interest in the field of optometry is definitely growing. As it grows, Warby Parker will continue to be there supporting Black Eyecare Perspective and the 13% Promise. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to catch you all up on the work that we've been doing here at Warby Parker, and now I'm going to pass it back to the doctor recruiting team.
Thanks, Dr. Sidhu. My name's Brianna Navarro. I'm our Talent Acquisition Manager for Optometry here at Warby Parker. In closing, we wanted to share that initiatives like this are just one element of a larger strategic effort to create change. It takes time and collective action from us all, and we are excited and eager to do the work. As a company, we strive to celebrate the diverse backgrounds and perspectives of our employees, our customers, and our partners. Since our founding in 2010, we remain dedicated to building a workplace that supports and celebrates all of our team members of any identity or life experience. As our co-founder and co-CEO Neil Blumenthal shared, it's critical that we continue to lay the groundwork for long-term change in the optometry industry. Increasing representation takes dedicated time, resources, and proactivity. This is an ongoing process, and our commitment to furthering diversity, equity, and inclusion in the industry is a long-term priority. Since tonight is all about you, the current and prospective students, I want to close out by saying we cannot wait for you to announce that you got into your dream school or that you've landed the job you've always wanted in the coming years. We look forward to working with and alongside you to make the field of optometry more equitable and more diverse. Thank you so much again for being here tonight. And for those attending, we will see you at Academy next week.
Thank you so much, Dr. Trinidad, Dr. Sidhu, Reggie, and Brianna. I, for one, am excited to see you guys at Academy next week. And thank you for all the work that Warby Parker is doing for our students, for our optometry, for our optometrists, and for our industry. Did y'all hear that? They're giving out scholarships. You could be that next recipient of that full tuition paid scholarship. They're giving out mentorships and internships. We see someone in the chat, they said they're going to be working at Warby Parker next year as a new grad. So there are many of opportunities there for you. And Reggie and Brianna especially have been very integral in helping our students, a part of the Black Eyecare Perspective Pre-Optometry Club, know how to survive and thrive, helping them with their resumes, helping them with their public speaking, helping them with their interview skills. So we thank you, Reggie and Brianna, and everybody in the Warby Parker team for all that you are doing for optometry, the eye care industry, and healthcare overall. Now, you want to talk about thanking people for the things that they're doing for optometry, eye care, and healthcare overall? I have to bring one of another one of my great pen pals that I have gotten to meet in person and look forward to seeing them again real soon, Dr. Michael Bacigalupi. So, Dr. B, you are the Dean of the Kentucky College of Optometry at the University of Pikeville, and you individually, collectively, the school have been making an impact in a huge way in the eye care industry and in increasing that pipeline of students into optometry schools. But you also have a pretty phenomenal program down there in Kentucky. And I wanted to bring you on to shine a little light over there, let everybody know what is going on down there in Kentucky, and just give you the floor. So share with us some of your great words of wisdom, your knowledge, and let us know how you and the Kentucky College of Optometry are making an impact.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. It's a pleasure to be here. I think we have my PowerPoint we can show. I'm thrilled to be here, and thank you all for putting on this event. Black Eyecare Perspective is really making a difference in our profession, and I'm really proud to just be a small part of this show tonight. As Dr. Johnson mentioned, I'm the Dean of the Kentucky College of Optometry. We're just a small school here in Eastern Kentucky, but we know it's important, the work that we're doing in diversity to try to improve our profession as a whole. So just thought I'd take a few minutes tonight to tell you a little bit about our school and also tell you a little bit about what's going on here in Kentucky. So we'll just go through a couple slides here and try to be really brief and answer any questions that anyone may have at the end. So if we can go to the next slide, I just want to give you a really brief history of the University of Pikeville. We heard that Xavier is about the same age. University of Pikeville was also started in 1889. So wow, this school's been around a long time. And it progressed quickly as a four-year college. And then in the early and mid to late 90s, they had this idea of adding a College of Osteopathic Medicine here in the hills of Appalachia. And I think people thought they were a little crazy when they did that, but it's been an incredible success. And they can actually pinpoint on a map all the communities that now have physicians, primary care physicians, that didn't in the past before Pikeville College of Osteopathic Medicine existed. So then later in 2014, they had the idea to do the same thing with eye care. So the Kentucky College of Optometry idea sprouted in 2014, and the school actually opened and welcomed its very first class in 2016. We graduated our first class in 2020, and that was the year we actually became a fully accredited College of Optometry. So I'm very proud to have led the school through that accreditation process. When we go to the next slide, I'm going to show you this quick progression of building the building that we house here in Eastern Kentucky. They say to me that they drilled a $4 million hole in the side of a hill to build this building. So you can see in 2014, there was just a hill. 2015 and 16, there's that giant hole they built. And then in 2017 till now, we have this 108,000 square foot facility that houses the Kentucky College of Optometry, which we're really proud of. But all I want to talk to you about is the next slide, and it's really about mission. The mission of the Kentucky College of Optometry comes down to three things. Number one is we want to develop leaders in therapeutic optometry. In the state of Kentucky, we have a very expanded therapeutic law. We can do certain laser procedures here in Kentucky to care for our patients. We can do minor surgical procedures around the eye to manage our patients' needs. We want to do that and develop leaders in therapeutic optometry through an innovative education. So that's part two, innovation in our education. And part three, and maybe most important, we want to do all this with maintaining a commitment for caring for the underserved people. We live in this area of the region we call Appalachia, and really we have an underserved population. I want to share on the next slide with you some statistics about that. In 2015, the Center for Disease Control said that this region, right where the arrow is pointing there on that slide, has the most severe vision loss of any place in the United States. And that is exactly where we are located. When we switch to the next slide, we'll see that not only do we have severe vision loss, but we also have significant poverty in our region. Historically, Appalachia has been a really poor region of the country. They have gone through many ups and downs over the years in Appalachia. They've had years of feast and they've had years of famine, and it's a really difficult area. And those two things, the combination of poverty and severe vision loss, has really developed a population here that has needed us and needed the College of Optometry. In fact, on the next slide, we'll show that the CDC summed up their study. If we can switch that one, they summed up their study to say that, to reduce the risk of vision loss, what people need to do is to, number one, maintain a healthy weight, not stop smoking, understand one's family eye health, use proper eye safety practices, and do routine eye care and eye examinations. So that is where we live. We live in this region of the country that really allows us to care for an underserved population. That second part of our mission is this, innovative education, and we are really proud of the technology that we put forth here at the college. About $78 million was spent building and outfitting this College of Optometry. So we have virtual reality simulation that allows you to get hands-on training with simulators before you actually see it on patients. You know, when you're in optometry school, you practice on your classmates all the time, which is kind of fun, but typically your classmates have really healthy eyes. So the first time you see a patient with cataracts or diabetic retinopathy, may be a shock to you. Well, we can program those things into our VR simulation labs so that you get to see those things for the very first time in lab and not in the patient chair. We'll show you a couple more pictures of some of our technology. We have 3D anatomy that allows our students to work on 3D monitors and actually do their anatomical dissections virtually. We actually have a cadaver lab at our medical school, but our students much prefer the 3D anatomy lab, maybe because of the smell, I'm not sure. The next slide will show you just a few more pictures of our innovative technology, and this is really featuring some of our lasers. In Kentucky, we're allowed to do, as optometrists, SLT, which is a treatment for glaucoma, PIs, which is another management of narrow angle glaucoma, and then also YAG capsulotomies, which allows us to manage patients after they've had cataract surgery. Also on the far right, I'll point out a picture there. You'll see someone holding up something to a patient's head. That's IPL, that's intense pulse light. And we use that for treatment of dry eye and for treatment of skin conditions like rosacea. So we really get to get deep into this innovation in technology here in Kentucky, which makes us really excited. We'll go to the next slide, and I really want to focus on that we are 7 years old now. I think people think we're still the brand new school, but we've actually entered our 7th class. We're really proud to have them join us. We have 65 students in that entering class, and they come from 24 different states. About 12 every year do come from the state of Kentucky. And we graduated our 3rd class in May of 2022. And interestingly enough, that class had provided 77,000 eye care services during their time at the Kentucky College of Optometry, which is kind of amazing. So we're really excited that we are making an impact in taking care of patients in this region. We'll switch to the next one, and I do want to share with you some brand new statistics. We have some new statistics about our entering class that makes us proud. You know, we've worked hard on increasing the diversity of our class, and it's been a bit of a challenge in Eastern Kentucky, but I'm proud to say that in our entering class, we have 23% of our student population in the categories of Asian, Hispanic, Latino, Black, or other Native Americans. So we actually have 6 African-American students in this entering class, and 5 are men, which really is amazing. And that bottom statistics probably doesn't mean much to you, but it's huge. Our class is actually the only class in the country that has more men than women. And, you know, quite honestly, I don't know how that happened, but I'm excited that it did, because we have a really great class of 2026 that joined us in August. One of the things that we really believe in our heart here at the Kentucky College of Optometry is that financial barriers should never prevent people from entering our profession. You know, it kind of saddens me to think that something as silly as paying for the OAT may have prevented an amazing person from becoming an optometrist and joining my profession, a profession that I really love. So in 2020, KICO, we set about raising some money to help provide grants for students who wanted to take the OAT, who were facing some financial difficulties. And thus far, we've paid for 55 students across the country to take the OAT. 29 of those students have been Black, 8 have been Latinx, 8 Asian, 5 Caucasian white students, and 1 Native American student. We have a great committee that reviews all of the applications that come in. We meet once a month via Zoom, and one of the important contributors to that committee is actually our current NOSA president. So whoever is the current president of NOSA at our college is actually on that committee helping make those decisions. So I'll show you some more statistics on the next slide that shows we've spent about $30,000 of our own money, basically, that we've raised locally to support underrepresented students and first in college students to enter the profession of optometry. We spend about $633 per student because we pay for the OAT, but we also offer them OAT study guides. We've heard these stories about students going to the library and using old dental study guides, and that's just really unacceptable. We want the students who take the OAT to have the best opportunity to practice, to pass it and do really well. So we want to give them the most up-to-date study guides. Thus far, we have statistics on 25 students that we paid for their OAT that are currently in optometry school. And you can see the breakdown there. 6 of them are actually at PCO, 4 at SUNY, 2 at UHCO, 2 at University of California at Berkeley, 2 at NECO, 2 at UAB, and 1 at Geico. I think he's on this call right now, so you probably know Joel. 1 in Indiana, 1 at Nova, 1 at OSU, 1 at MCPHS. So we are excited that we're able to not just help our College of Optometry, but be impactful to the profession of optometry by helping these 25 students get into the profession, and what great things they're going to do for us in the future. One other program I want to mention is that, we do something also that we think is important at our school. We make sure that all students enter our college on a level playing field. What do I mean by that? Well, what we do is we pay for all of the equipment that a student needs as part of their tuition. So they sort of pay for it in a roundabout way. But what happens is it allows every student to come into the program to have the exact same brand new equipment they'll need all the way through optometry school and, quite frankly, into practice. You all know that when you enter optometry school, you get this really cool kit of equipment, but it costs you a lot of money. We've rolled that into the tuition so that every student has the same thing. I remember well when I started optometry school, I was already married and I was on my own, and it was really hard for me to afford that $4,000 or $5,000 worth of equipment I needed to buy. What they do now is about $8,000 or $10,000 worth of equipment that you need to buy at the start of optometry school. So we put that into the tuition so every student has the best of the best when they start optometry school, and they have an equal footing with everyone else. It's like Christmas during orientation. When the students get their brand new iPad Pros, you can't believe how excited they are. So there's just a list of some of the other things that we include in our tuition here at Geico. It goes back to our mission. I told you guys at the very start of my brief conversation here that our mission comes down to 3 parts. One is to develop leaders in therapeutic optometry, and we have those great opportunities because we're here in Kentucky and we do have these advanced therapeutic laws in the state of Kentucky. 2 is we really try to be innovative in our education, whether that's with high technology like VR, or whether that's doing group work and a more patient or case-based learning curriculum. And then finally, we really stay focused on committing to caring for this underserved population we serve here in Eastern Kentucky. The Appalachian region needs us, and they really appreciate us. So it feels really good to take care of patients in this region because they appreciate us and they give us the love back that we give into them. So it is an exciting time to be here in Eastern Kentucky, and I really want to thank Dr. Johnson and all of our friends and colleagues at Black Eyecare Perspective for giving me a few minutes tonight to talk to you guys about some of the work we're doing here in Kentucky. And I'll turn it back over to them.
Thank you, Dr. B. You're thanking us, and I want to thank you. Thank you for all that you guys are doing there down in Kentucky. Thank you for this OAT grant. You guys have heard all of the great resources that it is providing to students all over the world. We had some people out there say, hey, they're ready to apply and they're sending an application to you. So everyone visit upike.edu/optometry. You'll be able to connect with Dr. B, with the admissions team, get any of those questions that you have. Please do not be afraid to reach out. Dr. B would love to have you at the school. You're talking about that anatomy lab. Yeah, there was no digital anatomy lab, simulated anatomy lab when we were going into school. And like you said, Kentucky is very progressive in terms of scope of practice. So even as a student, you'll get to practice and exhibit a lot of those different techniques. So blow up Dr. B's email, let him know. He will be happy to have you come down. I think the other special piece about Geico is they have their own special blend of coffee. So come down. I'm sure Dr. B will brew you a cup. And I know if you're at Academy, they'll probably be giving it out. So give Dr. B a shout. Congratulations again to Joel and all of the other students that are there. I see him in the chat. thank you, Dr. B. Any closing words for our audience today?
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. It's been fun to be here. If anyone does need to reach me, my email is mbachagalupi. So my first letter of my first name and my whole last name at upike, UPIKE .edu. mbachagalupi at upike.edu. Happy to converse with any of you at any time. And again, just thank you so much for this time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. B. I'll look forward to seeing you real soon. Thank you. So I want to give you guys maybe a little known fun fact. So when we're talking about that OAT grant, it is a grant for students who are taking the optometry admissions test. That's what OAT stands for the first time. And you are able to apply to get that test covered. It's a couple $100 in the $400 to $500 range. And not only that, they'll help provide resources for studying for the test. Also, as a member of the Pre-Optometry Club, you have some of those resources towards you too. We help connect you with people like Dr. B, like Dr. Boone, who is in the chat, to help get you the money that you need. But we also help connect you with other OAT resources and show you kind of all of the ins and outs. So my fun fact is the next person that I'm going to bring on, she is actually the first recipient of this OAT grant. She is also one of the first members of our Pre-Optometry Club, and she is the first and inaugural prez of our club as well. She is also my mentee, my sister, my soror, my friend, the one and only Lauren Price. I'm going to bring her on with our co-advisor to the Pre-Optometry Club, my best friend in optometry, Dr. Jacoby Cleaver. Hey, girl. Hey. Hey, Kobe. Hey.
Yo, yo, yo.
Hey, Dr. Johnson. Thank you so much for the warm welcome.
Of course, it's our centennial year.
Yeah.
And I have gotten some great opportunities to see you in our optometry capacity, in our sorority capacity. And I hope that you're coming to Indiana next month again. So I look forward to seeing you and celebrating with you. I wanted to bring you two on because I think if there's anything that goes on with the Black Eyecare Perspective Pre-Optometry Club, you two are the experts. And we've been mentioning it here and there. We have so many of our members in the chat. And I wanted you guys to just end out this last portion with telling us some of the benefits that we have in the Pre-Optometry Club. And for you in particular, Miss Future Optometrist Lauren, who is in her second year at the University of Houston College of Optometry. So if you're in the Texas area, if you're in the Houston area, and definitely if you go to U of H, shout it out in the chat. I want you to share with them how you two are an HBCU made, soon to be optometry trained optometrists, and how the Pre-Optometry Club, how the National Optometric Association, how Hbcu grants, and all the other opportunities that you had. Tell us from a real firsthand experience. You're still experiencing this. You're still reaping those benefits. You're still seeing those seeds sprout. Tell us how it is going. Thank you for finding that balance and taking some time to be with us amidst your studies. But tell us how it's going and how you have been able to thrive over these last couple of years.
Absolutely. Well, as a founding member of Black Eyecare Perspective's Pre-Optometry Club, I've truly been able to see firsthand the implementations that have come from the intentional dedication to increase Blacks in the applicant pool. So speaking from a student's perspective, the traction that has been made in the past 3 years alone is undeniable. Looking back to when I clicked submit, class statistics was something that I placed great importance on. I knew the next 4 years would be quite the journey, and one that I knew would be much more enjoyable if I had a community around me where I could find refuge during the ups and the downs. So as you said, being guided and supported by organizations such as the National Optometric Association through their HBCU Visioning the Future mentorship program helped guide me to the many facets of optometry. And being led by wise words from Dr. B and the Kentucky College of Optometry through the OAT grant helped solidify my seat in the class of 2025. And then unwavering support from Black Eyecare Perspective executive team has led me to where I am today. And following being accepted into the University of Houston College of Optometry, a school that I've had my sights on since 2019, I was overjoyed to see 10% Black representation in my current OD2 class, which is a direct reflection of the work from these three powerhouses, among others. And boy, what a blessing it has been thus far. As a student leader, I look forward to furthering impact by joining forces with fellow change makers. Thank you so much to Black Eyecare Perspective. And on behalf of many, I would like to say thank you for the work you do behind the scenes. Your impact will live on forever. And that's pretty much touching on what the National Optometric Association has provided for me in these years, what Hbcu and Dr. B has instilled in me. I still remember the wise words that he instilled in me during my application cycle, helped guiding me truly. A fabulous mentor there and a fabulous resource. And of course, Black Eyecare Perspective. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you. You're such a great ambassador. You're looking good in your shirt. And we're so excited to be a part of your journey and to continue just see Lo blossom. I cannot wait till you're Dr. Lo, and we are halfway there, surprisingly. It is amazing how quick these 4 years are going to go. Dr. Cleaver, tell us how people can join the Black Eyecare Perspective Pre-Optometry Club and let them know what they have to look forward to in the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. But before I do that, I must say, if I could go back and redo optometry school, I would do it exactly like Lauren is doing it now, taking advantage of every opportunity that comes our way and owning the moment. But that comes from the support and also her believing in herself and stepping out of her comfort zone. So as good as it is, for Lauren to say that she's well supported, which she definitely is, it's a real joy to sit back and watch her blossom. And Dr. Johnson, I'm sure that you would agree with me on that. And I have to be, and if you guys think future optometrist Lauren Price is impressive, all of the members in BEPPOC are equally impressive. That's what we're fostering here. This is a community of future Black optometrists that will come in and take over the industry, jump into these leadership positions, and really take optometry to the next level. But I'll be remiss to say, about 2 weeks ago, the University of Houston College of Optometry, about 15, 16 Black students invited me out to a brunch. Imani, I'm not sure if he's listening. E-Man invited me out to a brunch. He did the heavy lifting. He set everything up. And we ate, we drank, we laughed, we shared stories, all kind of stuff. And, they even let me pay for brunch. I didn't even know I was going to do that, but they let me pay for brunch. So now on the back end, I have 15 or 16 individual meals coming from these future optometrists. But we had a really good time. If anyone would love to sponsor me going from school to school, each of the 23 schools, meeting with these students and brunching, mimosas, I'm here for it. But we have to make room for Dr. Johnson, because I'm sure she's not going to let me do that on my own, and Dr. Glover Ramsey and Humes as well. But we're rounding out the year of 2022. We have 2 more meetings coming up. In November, we have Dr. Louis Rojas, who will be joining us, an optometrist out of Dallas, Texas. December, we'll have Dr. Carla Anderson from the National Vision Network, and Miss Kristen Tobin from the New England College of Optometry, which you guys just heard, and she's on the, I can't remember her exact title, but she's part of the admissions committee. You guys just heard that they are introducing another 2 full tuition scholarships. That's huge. That's a total of 6. That's a huge commitment from Warby Parker and the New England College of Optometry. Just stay tuned on our social media at BEPPOC for all the announcements and everything. That's where we, post all the announcements, meetings, times, dates, Zoom link, and just follow us there. We're looking for speakers, mentors. You don't have to be an optometrist to lend an ear, to be helpful, to be to help these optometrists in their journey. Just email us at axbeppoc@gmail. And if you want to engage in with our club, we'll get back to you. And like I said, you don't have to be an optometrist. to lend a helping hand. We recently had Dr. Lisa Aubrey Austin, who is a world leader in imposter syndrome, speak at our August meeting. It was very well received. We would like to do even more of that since imposter syndrome is such a big topic within these last recent years. So as we continue, we round out the year, please join us. This is a lot of fun. I must say, personally speaking, that the students do way more for me than I could ever do for them. And by saying that it takes me back to the time when I was going through school. I remember, I remember what that felt like. I remember, getting that interview invite felt like. I remember what it felt like to get that acceptance letter, how good it felt. I remember the struggles of going through school and, what that was like, and then coming out on the other side of it. So, I know all of the students are going to come through on the other end, and they're going to keep working to do so. You guys want to support us financially, please do so by visiting www.blackeyecareperspective.com. Any future optometrists who want to join the BEPPOC, please do so. I mean, it's open to everybody. It's free of charge. We just want your attention, and that's pretty much about it. We just want your attention. We want you to approach this very seriously, and we hadn't had any problems with that thus far. This is a community that we're fostering here. We want everyone to be able to take part of that. This is one of our signature events is Impact HBCU. As we round out the year, we get into 2023, and those acceptances are starting to come in. We're going to start rolling in the signing day, April 2023. This is an open event for everyone who has received acceptance into an optometry school. And to date, with our matriculation scholarships in partnership with Wallman Optical, we have given out just about $30,000. If we plan to give out even more. So by doing video announcements, matriculation scholarships, we'll make all those announcements at the appropriate time. But please, we are here for you guys. Let's keep the momentum going. The eyes are all on you. It's not what Dr. Glover, Dr. Humes, Dr. Ramsey, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Cleaver, myself. It's not what we are doing. It's what you guys are doing. You guys are going to carry us into the future generations of optometry, and we need to make sure you're well supported. So with that, I don't want to get too long-winded. I can go on all night about how much I love the students, how much I love seeing them blossom and everything. But I'm just going to shut up and stop right there and give it back to Dr. Johnson.
No, thank you, future optometrist Lauren Price. Thank you, Dr. Cleaver. Did you hear that? I like mimosas and chicken and waffles too, you guys. So I cannot wait till we can have one of those meetups in Dallas, Texas. Yes,
I think we might have lost Dr. Johnson. Let's just proceed. I think we have one more commercial before we round out this evening. And there's also a special video we want to play for Dr. Glover. Dr. Glover, you care to roll the video?
Happy birthday, Dr. Glover, to our favorite optometrist. Thank you so much for continuing to influence and inspire the world with your life's mission. As your mentee, I hope to be at least a fraction of the doctor that you are someday. I hope you had a great birthday.
Happy birthday! Thank you so much for your mentorship. You're always listening and advising us, and it means a lot.
It's been very valuable as we go through our optometry journey. 2 years down, 2 more to go.
We look forward to continuing to work with you as we become game changers in the industry.
Happy birthday!
That was supposed to be the surprise there, Dr. Glover. So we are glad that you did not be nosy and look at that video. It's hard to get these things done with someone who's running everything on the back end. So thanks for not being nosy, Dr. Glover. We appreciate you. And plus, happy 40th birthday, brother, man. We love you. We love you, man. So
I appreciate it, man. And thanks for telling my age, man. I was trying to stay in that 30 plus club, right? But
you 30 plus right along with me, man. 30 plus 10. We're all good, brother. We're all good.
Hey, I just want to say thank you so much, and thank you so much to all my mentees out there. Like you said earlier, Dr. Cleaver, they do more for us than they actually understand or realize, right? And every time I have a conversation with my mentees, I always tell them this is bi-directional, meaning, yes, I'm your mentor, but I'm also the mentee. And I get to learn so much from them day in and day out. They have helped me become a better optometrist, a better person, a better father, a better brother, just a better colleague in general. And, you know, it's just a blessing to be able to be a part of this organization. And I thank God every day for partnering with Dr. Adam Ramsey to start Black Eye Care Perspective, and partnering with you, Dr. Cleaver, you, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Humes, and all the students out there, because without, you know, this team, we wouldn't be able to achieve what we have achieved. And we're just getting started. We're going to change the industry. And we're not just going to change our industry, but we're going to change healthcare. And we're not only going to change healthcare, but we're going to change the world. And we're going to do this together. So I want to give a call out to all the industry folks out there. Partner with Black Eye Care Perspective. Let's change the industry. Let's change the narrative. Let's make eye care great. And let's do it together as a family and as a unit. And again, I want to give a shout out to my mentees for that. I mean, I wasn't nosy. I didn't look at that video, but I just really appreciate it. It means the world to me. But I'm going to jump off. It's not about me. It's about the students. It's about giving back. So I'm going to let you guys finish it up. But thank you so much for the opportunity to be a part of this amazing presentation and event.
No, thank you, Dr. Glover. As you know, you celebrate your birthday all month long, especially when it's such a momentous milestone as it is. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Dr. Cleaver. Thank you, everyone, to our partners, to Defocus Media for this production, to our schools and colleges of optometry. Thank you to our Impact Hbcu and BEPPOC ambassadors. We do it for you, and we are able to do it because of you all. Thank you to ASCO, AOA, NECO, NOA, BEP, KICO. The list just goes on and on. PCO, all of you, our eye care industry and media outlets, and a personal thank you to our team. Dr. Humes, Dr. Glover, Dr. Ramsey, Dr. Cleaver, our friends, our family, and our host of support that helps make this all possible. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please share a picture of you in your Impact HBCU shirt. And if you were unable to get one, we have the link back up. And not only do we have the link back up, we have shirt sizes for everyone. So down from the littlest of eyes to our more seasoned of people, get a shirt for everyone from 6 months all the way up to 4XL. Everybody can have a shirt, because we know that if you see it, you can be it. Purchase your shirt by our deadline, October 31st. They will be delivered on or around November 17th. Check your emails for the replay and for the post survey. And remember that if you see it, you can be it. Thank you, everyone, for attending our 3rd annual Impact HBCU.